And let's bring in immigration attorney Leon Fresco for more on all of this. Leon, thanks so much for coming on. I wanted to ask you about these three U.S. citizen children. Tom Homan says their mothers were deported and they asked to bring their children with them. And so how does that compare to how previous administrations have handled cases like this, where a parent comes into this country illegally but then has children here, and so their children are U.S. citizens?
Well, this is actually not a unique set of facts. This actually happens quite common. And what happens in these situations is, just like in any crime where there is a parent who's apprehended for committing a crime, you ask the parent, what is it that the plan is for the child in that situation? And then ideally, you would want to get that in writing in one form or another so that you have it. And if the plan is for the child to remain either with the father in this case, or with cousins or friends or uncles, that would be one plan. The parents also can say that they want to return to the home country with the child, and then that is also acceptable. But the allegations are that that was not followed here, where there was a choice given and that choice was articulated and it was executed. And so that's going to be the issue that the courts are going to have to determine whether that was done or not in these particular cases.
The press secretary was also asked about potentially suspending habeas corpus to circumvent judges and deport more migrants. Levitt said that the press secretary said the president is open to all legal and constitutional remedies. What do you make of that?
I don't think that, given that we're not in a time of war or a time of internal conflict where people are worried about somebody trying to overthrow the government from inside the United States, like what happened during the Civil War, that the suspension of habeas corpus will be something that will be permissible by the Supreme Court. There were cases about this during the time of 9/11 and Guantanamo, and previously and other times where there have been influxes of Haitians. There was arguments about suspending habeas corpus for them, and the courts have not been very receptive to these claims.
And Leon, over the weekend, a federal judge rebuked the government's attempt to deport a Venezuelan couple in the country legally, ordering them to be released. The judge in that case accused the government of declaring they were members of a gang without providing a single, this is a quote, a single piece of meaningful evidence. So how high is the bar when it comes to proving a gang affiliation in order to justify deportation?
Quite frankly, the problem is that all of this is we're kind of building the plane while the plane is in the air. And every judge is going to be deciding this on a case-by-case basis until people even can decide the ultimate case, which is what the Supreme Court is going to have to get at, which is, can you even apply the Alien Enemies Act in this situation with regard to whether members of this gang, Tren de Aragua, can actually be considered as alien enemies. And so in the meantime, you're going to get some immigration judges who are going to be quite deferential, some federal court judges who will say there's no jurisdiction for them to review this. You're going to get other federal court judges who say that there is such jurisdiction and they will be quite stringent. And we're going to have to wait to see for the Supreme Court to make these ultimate decisions.
All right. Immigration attorney Leon Fresco. Always great to have you, Leon. Thank you.
Thank you.